Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Gabriela from the Sea, and today I'm gonna talk about something very exciting, which is the movie Annabelle 2. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about this movie and I'm gonna give out some things that happened during the trailer, and whatever is spoilers, I'll put a spoiler alert for you so I don't spoil it, and I'm gonna give out my final thoughts. Annabelle Creation is the sequel of the first movie Annabelle, directed by David Sandberg. The toy maker Sam Mullins and his wife Esther are happy to welcome 6 orphaned girls into their farmhouse, but long before that, the couple lost their 7-year-old daughter Annabelle in a tragic car accident. Terror soon starts to strike the children when one of the girls sneaks into a forbidden room and finds a doll that seems innocent, but however seems to have a life of its own. Some of the actors include Miranda Otto, who acts as Annabelle's mom, Stephanie Segman, who is the nun who is the guardian of all the orphaned kids, Talitha Bateman, who is the crippled, Anthony LaPlaglia, who is Annabelle's dad, Lulu Wilson, who is the brave girl, who is Jessie's best friend, and Samara Lee, Annabelle herself. Alright, so in the first movie, we all saw that it was about this family that was being tormented by this doll, which is Annabelle, of course, and then all this stuff happens, you know? I'm not gonna talk about it because this is about the second movie. Alright, so in Annabelle 2 is about the creation of Annabelle. In the first movie, they show that it was this family, they had a little daughter, she is Annabelle, and then she died in the car crash. That's in the trailer. And so it looks in the movie like Annabelle is being possessed by the doll, but in reality she is not. In reality is this demon that is using Annabelle as a disguise to get into their house and transfer its spirit into the doll and torment their souls, of course, and all this stuff. So then in the movie they show this bus of kids, and it's like a bus of orphanage kids, and they belong, I don't know if they belong to a church or something, but they all are, the guardian of these kids, it's a nun. So they show in the trailer that one of the kids, she has a problem because she needs a crutch to like walk around, and so in the movie it looks like she's gonna be an important element because she is constantly shown more than everyone else, and also there's like some dramatic close-ups and stuff like that. And so it looks in the movie like she is going to be the one confronting Annabelle. But in reality, she ends up being possessed by the demon who is supposed to be Annabelle. And the movie ends up being more about her friend trying to fight Annabelle, which is now Jessie. And she, I must say, she has some iron balls. Like, there's a scene where she literally grabs the doll because she sees that the doll is really harming her best friend Jessie. So she takes the doll and she walks in the middle of the night with the freaking doll into the forest so she can like dump it into this, how do you call it? Like the water thingy that goes in really deep into the earth. Yeah, I don't know what you call that, but yeah, she has some iron balls for sure. And something that I find really interesting that I love about this, all these movies, is that they all intermingle together. And so in The Conjuring 1, we see that there's the introduction of the Annabelle doll, and then in Annabelle 2, they make a connection. Like Annabelle 2 explains the origin of Annabelle, And I also like that they have kind of like this whole sequel going on. And so they have The Conjuring, then Annabelle, and now it looks like they're gonna initiate the Nun movies, because there is a scene in the trailer in which Jessie, the crippled girl, is being pushed against her will by the nun. Because she looks around and you see like this purple bluish arms, and she's like screaming and stuff like that. And also, spoiler alert, there's the guardian nun that I'm talking about. She has a picture in which she is with other two nuns that she met at this Romanian church or whatever. And then in the background there's like a black door. And then when the picture shifts in the movie, you can see like some evil eyes. So that's the introduction of the evil nun spirit that is gonna appear later on. Which I think is really cool that they slowly introduce it, so it all makes up part of like a puzzle. And the cool thing is that you don't need to watch the previous movies to understand what is going on. Okay, and so for the ending, spoiler alert, there is going to be, okay, this is a huge spoiler. So Jessie runs away and she runs away while being possessed still, and she ends up being adopted by this family. And she introduces herself as Anabelle because of course she's possessed. She goes in the middle of the night 12 years later and murders her dad and her mom. And she goes into the house with Charles Manson. So when this happens, the family is like screaming, and then the family next door, which is the family that appears in Annabelle 1, wakes up because they heard the family screaming. And so Jessie, which is now Annabelle, is the one who will be attacking the family in Annabelle 1. So I think that's a huge, super interesting way of intermingling Annabelle 1 and Annabelle 2. And I thought it was a really good way to end it.
I will give this movie an A because it's really hard to find movies that are actually really good. There has to be a perfect balance of a good background story, not overdoing it, but making it creepy enough. Because we all know it kind of sucks when you're always waiting for something to happen in a scary movie and it ends up not being scary at all. And we also know that it sucks when a movie is completely overdone, when it's almost fictitious and it gets to the point where it's goofy. Yeah, my mom is watching the movie, that's why she screamed. But yeah, this movie, I would give it an A, not an A plus though, because it just had a couple of overdues, like when the girl turns around with her face being possessed, and same with Jessie when she's possessed, and Esther's wound caused by Annabelle's demon. I think that her wound was a little bit overdone, but overall the movie is excellent.
So my final thoughts about the movie, I thought it was really worth the trip to the theater and the money. I honestly am so harsh on scary movies. I hate it when they overdo it. I hate it when there's nothing going on. So there has to be a perfect balance between the spook and just a good background story. And Annabelle has it all, to be honest. I even, like, you know how after you watch a movie you're constantly paranoid and like you imagine you hear stuff and you're kind of scared to go in the dark. And so this really happens to me when I watch like good movies, even movies that are not really that good. But with this movie I even had a nightmare, and that's really something. So I do recommend, If you are a horror movie fan, I super recommend that you go watch it and check it out. Thanks for watching.